Hello, hi, and welcome to another episode of Kali Cricket to Bounce Wicket podcast. I'm your host, Srinivas.
Hi everybody, this is Raja.
Hello everyone, this is Manoj.
All our spirits were quite high in the last week, with India winning multiple medals at Olympics and Test match with England panning out nicely for India to start the series with a wonderful win at Nottingham. Well, the rain in England had other plans and pretty much spoiled a thrilling game of cricket on the last day of the Test match. So, Manoj, on a scale of gold, silver, and bronze, how much have you been disappointed because of the match being ended, etc.? Pardon my Olympic hangover.
Pretty disappointed. It could have been anybody's match. Virat Kohli was very confident that he's going to win. After we have seen that he's given the statement that he's pretty disappointed that it ended as a draw. So I was rooting for India. Obviously, they had 9 wickets in hand and 150 runs to get. It would pretty much anybody's game, but I was rooting for India.
Yeah. So, Raja, what were your thoughts seeing where the match has ended on day 4? Did you think India have a chance, or how much percentage do you think India would have won if the match would have been played?
Firstly, what Manoj said, I completely agree. I think test matches in England these days are turning out to not be a bilateral issue. It's becoming a triangular thing with two sides as well as the weather.
Yeah.
And whoever, it's becoming a tussle like that. The position that India was in was extremely good, with 50 on board and 150 odd to get and 9 wickets in hand. The much wanted middle order was struggling, but I'm sure if there was a full day's play, they would have seen the difficult early phase and gotten into the meat of the second session and could have pulled us into a complete victory in the first.
Yeah, I agree with you, Raja. Actually, I would say at least there was 70% chance for India to win the game, especially seeing how they have ended the day 4, right? In those crucial period of 15-20 overs, they have scored those 52 runs, which was like very important, and they have lost only 1 wicket, right? So yeah, there were instances where previously India had lost from a similar situation in England, but I think with 9 wickets in hand, I think India had very bright chance. Of course, Joe Root will say 50-50 chance, but still, I think it was India's game to lose. But again, rain played well, or I would say better than India and England. So nothing much to do there. So let's get into the match, guys. I would say India started the series well with the customary of losing the toss again on our overseas tour. So, Manoj, so what are your thoughts about selection for the Indian team? I mean, have you been surprised with the selection of Shardul Thakur? We haven't expected it, at least for the first test match, right? So, what were your thoughts on squad?
No, if you look at the squad, I was sort of expecting Shardul Thakur to be picked. We've also talked about this. I think he was picked to do a role of maybe Hardik Pandya, which he did last time. So I was I was quite expecting that. But which was really surprising for me was not to pick Ashwin. I mean, Ashwin is a too good player to leave him out. Maybe the decision was to play a all-rounder who can bat and as well hold those overs. So that would have been the game plan. So apart from that, the squad was very much expected. Mayank being out with the injury, it was obvious to bring KL Rahul, and pretty much expected, except for that one change. Sorry.
I think in the previous episode I mentioned I want somehow KL Rahul to be in the playing 11, but really I haven't meant that Mayank should be injured for that. It was an unfortunate thing, I would say, but I think overall it's a good team. If you ask me, I think they are saying Ishant has picked up some injury, but again, those are small things. We may or may not, agree or believe them, but I think overall it's a long series, right? I don't think it's right to judge from the beginning of the tour that he should have played more games. He should have played more games. When there are 5 games, obviously some people will miss out few games, and it's a right call as well, considering long English summer. So let's get into the match, guys. I think India started really well, I should say. I think Manoj, you were a bit of critical on Bumrah when he couldn't perform in WTC finals, and he started really well. So your thoughts on how India started and how they handle the England batting?
So as I was saying, Bumrah, Shami, they bowled really very good lines. They kept the bowling really tight. Didn't give away many runs. That sort of pushed England back. If you can see, they bundled out for 183, right? So it was a brilliant performance, and Bumrah, I can say, has come back to form. I was pretty. I was thinking maybe they could have given Ishan rested Bumrah, but I think that they did the right thing by picking Bumrah and sitting out Ishant. Siraj too bowled brilliantly, great lines. So all in all, a great bowling performance, I would say, from India.
Yeah. Raja, if you see at one stage, England were 138 for 3, and then India pulled back the innings completely to 155 for 8. And I think we have to appreciate the Indian bowlers there and the kind of disciplined bowling that they have done. And from there, again, Sam Curran was at crease. And then, did you get the memories of 2018 when you see Sam Curran batting with the tail?
Yeah. So I think credit to the Indian team, bowling team especially, because all the things that we thought had gone wrong for India in the WTC final, they've ticked that. It's incisive opening spells, as Manoj has already spoken about, by Bumrah and Shami. They kept the pressure relentlessly on. They didn't. We also talked about it with during our preview with Jack that the top three were a vulnerable bunch, and they made sure, Indian bowlers made sure that they didn't get off to a great start. Obviously, Root and Bairstow, so as England are the pillars for England, and once they stuck around, they stuck around. But once the wicket fell, and it was also, it could have taken another turn where India could just have took the foot off the pedal and let the runs accumulate. And that's what India has been doing for some time in overseas conditions, where the batting, it's becoming very difficult. It became very difficult for India to clean up the tail. So credit where it's due. I think the pressure was relentless throughout the 65 odd overs that India bowled. Even when India was bowling to the pair of Root and Bairstow, they didn't allow loose deliveries. They didn't allow of the partnership to get easy runs. And I think that carried on, and just to wind up things in itself is a very heartening sign. And this will be something that England will be very worried about, because this was an area that India had lacked in 2018 and other overseas tours as well. And putting the best foot forward on the first day of a test series and doing so well will give us a lot of confidence and a lot of worries to the to the England outlet.
Definitely, Raja. I think with the where the innings has ended, I think I would say England has lost the toss advantage completely, right? They would have been much happier, like when they won the toss. But definitely, India has negated that advantage, if you ask me, seeing where the match has ended, right? Even if I see a stat where lowest totals India bowled out their opponents on the first day of the tour outside Asia, right? There are two Zimbabwe test matches as well, so I'm just removing those. If we see what are the other games, it is 166 against Australia in Brisbane, way back in 77-78, right? And then the second place is being taken by this match. So that says how good India's performance has been, and especially considering the fact that India coming to the batting and not losing a wicket on the same day, right? Generally, what happens, like India gets their opponents bowled out early, and then India will also give away 2-3 wickets in the remaining overs of whatever that they are going to play, right? 15-20 overs or 10 overs. That's where we'll lose all the advantage that we have gained. But I think kudos to Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul for the way they have started the innings. Manoj, your thoughts on how they started the innings and how India innings went from there?
They batted brilliantly. They did. I mean, for the first 15, I think I think the plan would have been to see off the new ball because we've seen that they didn't play too many shots, right? Even Rohit Sharma, he hold himself back. He didn't play many shots. I mean, we are seeing a different Rohit Sharma. I think the only worry now is he's not able to convert those starts. So I would say great opening partnership by Rohit and Rahul. The opening has been really great for India.
I think when your opposition got all out for 183, you have a almost near 100 runs opening partnership is gold dust, right? You could not have asked for more from your openers, and especially considering the fact that both of them have played more than 100 balls. And it is first time for the past 15 years that Indian openers playing more than 100 balls. Like last instance being, in 2007 by Dinesh Karthik and Wasim Jafar in Trent Bridge. So I think it was amazing the way they have started. So unfortunately, Raja, we haven't even discussed or debated 3, 4, 5 for India, right? We said in our previous episode that there are going to be no surprises and we'll have a standard 3, 4, 5.
Right.
And three of them together have made what? 7 runs, 9 runs. So your thoughts on 3, 4, 5 for India?
Again, where do we begin? That's the heartbeat of our batting, right? This is the much vaulted, much revered Indian middle order. Having the likes of Kohli, Pujara, and Rahane struggle, and it's not like that one of them is struggling or one of them is not, and they're still able to carry the team through. But in the last, we could also talk about the England series in India also, where the numbers 3, 4, and 5 didn't really put up that many runs, and except for the first test match, of course, in Chennai. So the same thing has been continuing even in the WTC to an extent. I'm not going to say that because Rahane did top score, but he wasn't able to convert again. And this is another example of them struggling. You can only hope and pray that this will be shaken off. And the second innings of the Indian innings would have been a great opportunity for the team for them to get some runs and also have the opportunity to see the team too. So that is again that is something that we've lost out on. But yeah, I'm a little bit of a concern, surely.
I think what was surprising for me is what was Rahane trying to do there, right? I mean, Pujara got out for a good ball. Kohli got out on first ball. Then comes Rahane, and he got run out. I seriously couldn't understand what he was trying to do there, because even there is a stat that has been given by Crickbuzz. In the first 204 partnerships that Rahane is involved in his test career, not even once he was involved in run out. Forget about him being run out, even his opponent also, right? In the last 33, he was involved in 4 runouts, twice running out himself. So I think there is something seriously wrong with him. It may be a mental thing more than a technical thing, because he has played long enough for India or cricket at highest level to understand what is required. But I think this is seriously something that he has to work on, right? Because in a test match, getting run out and it's happening multiple times recently is quite upsetting, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And just as Pant looks good, he has thrown away his wicket, and Jadeja batted brilliantly with the tail. Manoj, your thoughts on batting by Jadeja and then how the Indian innings went on?
Jadeja batted brilliantly. I mean, if he continues batting like this, and it's tough to keep him out of the team, I think. Under the circumstances, a 50 is, like you said, is gold dust, right? I mean, if he hadn't scored 50, we would have maybe bundled out for 230 or and we would have had 300 target, right? So I think he's improved a lot over the last 1 year or so. So he's making his chances stronger to getting into the team. So I mean, amazing. You can't keep him out.
Seriously, Manoj, seeing his batting, I was really wondering where do Ashwin comes into this team. Really, like, I mean, I know, it's altogether a different question, but really, for what he's being selected into the team, I think he's doing 100% or more than 100%, I would say. Even if you see Indian batting, Raja, I would say has done really well. What you expect from England has been done by Indian tail, and what you expect from Indian tail has been done by England tail. Your thoughts on Bumrah getting some runs and Shami? And I see, at one stage I thought India may give lead of 40-50 runs, and then getting 95 from there was amazing. Your thoughts on India's lead
Absolutely.
for the final innings?
See, if you look at the difference between the 2018 setup and the 2021 the test team, in 2018, if I'm not wrong, we went in with the one extra batsman, just because there was uncertainty with the number of runs that the tail could manage to get, and there's always Hardik Pandya was there, but that is where the batting ended, ended at number 6 or 7, and it fell off the cliff. So if the tail can muster up runs like this, and can just stick around, and we could even see that how not just even after an established batsman like Rahul fell, just to be able to stick around with Jadeja, and just to be able to uh, rotate the strike, and when the opportunity came, just throw the bat at it, and see off some difficult overs as well. All these runs mattered to the end of the, because we were already had a situation where the numbers 3, 4, 5 only made 9 runs. So if the tail had wound up early, all the advantage that we would have gotten from the first innings would have been negated, and it would have been back to square one. And if England had put up, like, maybe if they had done the same, like 300 odd runs, India would have no opportunity to even chase that, and we would be the ones wishing for rain, and we would have wished for the rain to have continued and the match been watched. So that would have been the mindset that India would have gone in. So great job, and we couldn't have a better performance. They had a great show with the ball, and they've done wonders with the bat. Just to add to what bowling of England. England also went in with England. On the other hand, went in with 7 batsmen, right? So they are doing the approach where they feel that their batting is a little fragile, and they've added the extra batsmen, and they went in only with the 4 seamers. So that's also a point to note here.
Yeah, definitely, Rajan. Looking at what their bowling, what a way to equal your world record of 619 wickets, taking Virat Kohli, the way James Anderson has dismissed, right? It has been a really amazing battle, if you ask me. 2014 series, when India visited there, Virat Kohli was James Anderson bunny, to be fair. And 18, he haven't got out to James Anderson even once. And see where this series has started. He got him on the first ball. So it was amazing to see. And James Anderson, I don't think we have enough words to really describe him. He's probably 39 now and going strong. 623 now, probably 622. So I don't know. Probably I wish him, as long as he plays. I think England would wish that as well. And Ollie Robinson, like we discussed, right? Like he had a amazing domestic numbers, and he came up and he picked 5 wickets. And it's good that like both of you mentioned, these 95 runs lead by India has been put India in really good position going into the third innings. But I would say credit to Root for what lead that they have got. Otherwise, like similar to first innings, all of them looked really settled, and then Indian bowler chipped in and got the wickets whenever necessary. But Root struck at one end, right? I think last 3 years, probably it was his first home century or something like that for England, in England for Joe Root. So, Manoj, your thoughts on Root's batting?
Root has been exceptional. I mean, he took advantage of in the second innings especially. He stuck around. When the sun came out, obviously he played his shots, and yeah, great to see a player like that come back into form. Unfortunately, he scored 100 against India, but yeah, amazing player. No words to describe his class.
I think speaking of India's bowling in the second innings, Bumrah again, he took 5 wickets. He really ensured, he got wickets at very regular strikes, which has been crucial in this inning so far and in this match so far. And even for Shardul Thakur, who has been picked as, bowling all-rounder, I would say, taking 2 wickets in each innings and then taking those important wickets, I think he has been amazing. Raja, your thoughts on Shardul Thakur?
He has done complete justice to his selection, right? He's bowled extremely well. Batting, yeah, he got out for a duck, right? But apart from that, he's done complete justice as a bowler, picking up 4 wickets when you have three seamers who are supposed to take the bulk of the wickets, and you're only there as a fourth seamer, essentially, and still making an impact is a great sight to see. And just to add to that number of Bumrah, yeah, the world has been quite critical of Bumrah in the recent past, and how he's been able to shut people's mouths is again wonderful to see. All the armchair pundits, all the critics, all the fans, all the people who are going gaga about how Bumrah is no longer suited to red ball cricket, is completely shut everybody up, and such a great sight to see. And this shows why he's such a champion player, and how much of a what kind of a mindset the strength of it he has just to come back in this fashion.
I think you mentioned about Shardul Thakur's batting, right? He got out for a duck. He just did that to make sure his captain doesn't look bad when someone looked at scorecard. So that's okay. So I think one surprising thing is Bumrah bowling 7 no balls, and I think even in the first innings he bowled a couple. So I'm really worried looking at this pattern in which he is bowling, right?
I think once the third umpire is looking at the line, I think a lot of these people are getting caught. I think that's also something
definitely.
that
I hope and wish third umpire will start looking at where runner is when the ball is being bowled. Really, like these are maybe, I don't say even inches, right? The bowlers are being analyzed in millimeters. So I don't know, man. I saw Jock Crawley when some no ball was called. He was like, I would say he walked down 2 feet. I don't know what urgency he has in a test cricket. So just to walk off before the ball is being bowled anyway. So I really hope Bumrah, comes out of this, because India cannot afford one more loss because of the no balls, right? We already had a heartbreak, and at least the least expected from Bumrah. So
and relatively shorter run up as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, relatively shorter run up. So he should have more control ideally. And just one amazing stat that has been given by Crickbuzz again. This is the second instance of Indian bowlers taking all the 20 wickets, same bowlers. It's amazing, right? I mean, it's only second instance in the history of Indian cricket, and the first instance being 2017-18 Jobar. We all speak about it, right? Our fast bowlers has the ability to pick 20 wickets, but really they have proved that. And India started their second innings. We all know they are going to play those maybe 15 to 20 overs, and we don't want them to just lose wickets. Like no one in the Indian camp would have been worried about how much they would score on that day. But again, KL Rahul got off to I would say amazing start. He has hit 6 fours, and then he got out to a good ball, and Rohit Sharma and Pujara, they carried. But India overall, I think day 4 ended quite favorable for India, right? Raja, your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. I think we touched upon it a little bit, but a heartening thing to see also was that once Rahul fell, Pujara walked in. So it wasn't like India was looking for a night watchman, right, or somebody to fill that role and just see the day through. Just to have the confidence, and when ideally, we all not ideally, but we all know that Pujara has been struggling a bit, and just to have that confidence to come
so
out
itself. You mean to say Pujara came as night watchman?
No. I'm trying to say that Pujara, he could have opted for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
More often than not, teams would do that.
Yeah, right? Especially when you have when you don't need the bowlers to bowl anymore. So you could have gotten say a Shardul or a Bumrah to just stick around and not make any more thing. But he came in with the right intent, and he's also scored 3 boundaries out of the little spell that he had.
Right.
So I think things were looking India's in India's favor. But, unfortunate that the in gods played spoil sport. I think this is the N+1th time that we're talking about it in
Yeah.
England, England's context.
I would say India had lost the chance of winning the match, and 6 points as well, right? Points are also being shared. This test match obviously being, played in the context of World Test Championship cycle. So now India and England will be sharing 6 points, and we really hope summer gets better, and really summer will behave like a summer in England. So let's hope we'll see some results in the next test matches at least. So next match, I think I would say it's as important as the first match, or more important, as I would say. It's being played in Lords, and Lords has been traditionally, I would say, better suited for England, or better ground for England. Even if I look at stats, in the last 10 matches that have been played in Lords, 5 have been won by England, 3 ended as draw, and only 2 matches England lost. And incidentally, both they have lost to Pakistan. So I would say Lords have been a favorable ground for England. And even one more factor to consider, if you see last 2 test matches that have been played in Lords, that have been played, including New Zealand versus England test match just before the World Test Championship cycle, where Devon Conway went on to hit double century, that ended as draw. So I would say, seeing what happened recently, it has been a ground where batsmen get most runs. I think 1, 2, 3 innings. So India had a bad history in this ground, definitely starting from 1932, where they have lost their first test match, to what happened in 2018. An odd one out, probably I would say, in 2014, India had a brilliant match at Lords, and Rahane scored a century. Bhuvi got 6 wickets in the first innings. Ishant got 7 wickets in the second innings. I think this Ishant second wicket, we all know, like a lot of people talk about Ishant's second wicket, Ishant's second innings heroics, but we often forget about Bhuvi's 6 wickets in the first innings. So I would say 2014 they have won well, and 2018 again they have gone back to the traditional way of losing in Lords. Batting collapsed in both innings, and barely scoring 25 and 30 runs. Ashwin is the top scorer in both innings. And India surprisingly played both Ashwin and Kuldeep there. It was still surprise to many pundits on how Kuldeep was selected to that test match. But looking at the history of what's happening in Lords, so do you think any changes will be made to Indian squad? Manoj, your thoughts?
I think they will likely go with the same squad unless they're looking for a specialist batsman in Vihari. I think they will go with the same squad. I mean, that's the news as well. What I know from the news, I think they will not make any changes because Jadeja played brilliantly. Shardul is doing his job, so I think they will go with the same 11 and try to better their record in Lords.
But don't you think Ishant will get a chance in second test match, or do you think he'll have to wait more? Probably, yeah. Like, it's a 5 test match series.
I think he has a niggle, right? I mean, it all depends on whether he's fit. Then they might look at, but I don't see Ishant being fit and coming back for the second test.
So Raja, I'm really tempted to play Jadeja because the way he has batted, right? But if you look at that way, when Ashwin is going to play in the series, right? He is batting well, and I'm sure Ashwin is really concentrating on his batting, and even in probably last 1 year or so, Ashwin's batting has improved, right? Earlier he used to bat well. In between there was a dip in his batting powers, and again he's improving. Even in the videos that he's posting in YouTube, he has been practicing the batting. And in fact, in the first test match, I'm not sure if you two could see. I mean, there was some scenes where, when India team was playing, Ashwin was coming out from practice with pads and helmet and all. I'm sure he's concentrating equally on batting as well now. So your thoughts?
How the first test has panned out will decide, in my opinion, the playing 11 for the second test. And Ashwin, I don't think the choice right now is between Jadeja or Ashwin, because if India, Jadeja right now, how he's played, it will be difficult to take him out, as you said. I think the choice would be, if India wants to play the extra spinner, it would be, in my opinion, between Shardul or Ashwin. But looking at the conditions, I do feel that Shardul would be a better option. I understand Ashwin is a great player. No doubt you would not want him in the team. But considering the conditions and the kind of setup that Indian team is looking at, probably he will miss out. As you said, it's a long series, and surely he will play a role. That's what I can say. At least if the summer kicks in as the summer is supposed to in England, by the third test, by the fourth test and fifth test, the pitches might be even more drier. And because the test matches will continue way into September, and in those conditions and with drier pitches are where I think both Jadeja and Ashwin can be a handful, in my opinion. I think, yeah.
And it's tough on Mayank as well, right?
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I think with how Rahul has played, he has fallen down the pecking order a bit, because this would have been an opportunity for him to cement his place. And right now, even if Mayank comes back to full fitness, probably they'll stick with Rahul. And if the next series, whenever that is there, once Shubman is fit, and Shubman might slot back as the number 2 option ahead of Mayank. Unfortunate, and this is one of those situations where I think Rohit Sharma missed out on a test debut because of an injury, and he had to wait for a long time to get the opportunity to break into the test 11.
Right. So I think it's definitely unfortunate, because who would have thought Rahul will open in the first test match, right? Because we were all thinking he was unnecessarily selected for England because they have Mayank, Gill and Rohit already, and Vihari as a backup player. And then, team is on the other hand playing in Sri Lanka, and he had missed the white ball tournament, and then he will be warming up the bench, and see how really fate plays here. And I really hope Mayank will get chance sometime, because he has hardly done anything mistake to lose his place in the playing 11. But I think I have an interesting opinion. I don't know if you guys will agree, but if these guys like Rahane and Pujara continues to fail, probably by 4th test or 5th test, we never know. Probably they might try, Mayank at number 5, or I don't know, probably Mayank at 3 if Pujara continues to fail, because we cannot keep, sitting on them for series over series, right? What do you guys think? Manoj, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you said it rightly. If they fail, maybe they would, obviously they'll give them the enough chances to prove maybe in second and third tests. Even if they fail in the third test, I think they might look at Vihari and Mayank for that 3 and 5th positions. I remember when Rahul didn't do well in the Australia series. I think it was 2011, 10-11. So I think they put him down the order, if I'm not wrong. So I think yeah, time will tell. I hope they perform and do well. If they don't, then maybe they will look at bringing in these two guys. Yeah.
Definitely. I think we really haven't expected this playing 11, especially Rahul being there at the top. So we really don't know what and where India is going to end up this series with what combination. And I really hope, these guys play well, because they have a lot of cricket left in them, if you ask me, really, especially Pujara and Rahane. Raja, you have something to add?
If the call has to be taken, it will be considered as a brave call. I know there are opinions and opinion pages on how these guys are, like struggling, especially Rahane and Pujara. But Rahane has led India to a great, historic series victory. And Pujara, Pujara put his body and mind. You don't want, there is no replacement to somebody like Pujara in the Indian team. It will be a brave decision, and probably they will they will have to look at it very, with a lot of detail and with a lot of heart, because they have been the bank for India, and that is where it would come down.
I think a lot of it depends on how the results for India are going into the next few matches, right? It's not only about these 2 or 3 players, and maybe like if India is losing and these guys are failing, people may be harsh on them. If they are failing and India is winning, and it's altogether a different
okay,
story.
we can carry them then. They can, if India is doing well the next couple of tests, and if they're going by this thing, I think carrying a couple of players of the stature of Rahane and Pujara would be Easy.
Yeah, let's hope India will start with a win at Lords. I think it was good at the end, right? You know, drawn the first test match. After all, they would have gained a lot of confidence coming into England, because seeing what happened in the last two series, India would have definitely, coming into the series, I would say they are underdogs, definitely, right? At least in the England's minds. But right now, they are not going to look India the same way they were looking at the beginning of the series. So
And yeah, the big, and it also a difference that we can see in the England team also is that Ben Stokes, there's a huge Ben Stokes sized hole in the team with the ball, with the bat, what he could do. Best wishes for him for his recovery and all that. But there is a genuine weakness in the English batting as well. If that can be, pressed upon and exploited, India has a definite chance to make a very significant impact in the series.
I think to end with, I would say this is the best chance for India to win the Test series in England, right? Seeing what are the weaknesses that they have, the players that have been missing, be it Jofra Archer or Ben Stokes, like you mentioned. I think this is the best chance for India, because
And
their top order also looks really unsettled with
yeah,
Sibleys, Crawleys, and everyone. So let's hope they'll start winning in England, and I hope we have covered a lot of ground. And that brings us to end of this episode. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned. Bye bye.